Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
we are Prabhuji.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to everyone. So, in the previous class, of course, the previous few weeks, we were hearing that Lord Krishna, uh, hi, what all pastimes he performed in Vrindavan, Madura, Dwarka, and the Battle of Kurukshetra. Then, of course, within that, so many other pastimes such as marrying various queens, killing various demons, etc. Finally, after Kurukshetra battle, when Duryodhana fell down with thighs broken, bleeding everywhere, Lord Krishna was not happy because of two reasons we discussed. One was Duryodhana hearing from Karna, Dushasana, and Shakuni taking their counsel, did not listen to the good counsel of great sages who used to come to Hastinapur and give him. As a result of which, now he lost all his brothers, his kingdom, and his life, his very life. And the other thing, because of some unavoidable reasons, the Yadavas did not take part in the battle because the Yadavas also appeared in order to remove the burden of the earth. So that burden, which is the negative burden, supposed to be removed, is removed. But in order to remove the burden, the Devatas who came down and took birth in the family of Yadavas are still there. They are not yet removed. This is a loving burden, the burden of love. So Lord Krishna was thinking how to remove this burden. So he made a plan that okay, just like the Pandavas and Kauravas fought among themselves, the Yadavas also should fight among themselves. But how can they fight? Okay, let them drink wine and become intoxicated. In that intoxication, let them kill each other. But this may not be a good idea. They are devotees. Why should they drink wine? Why should they fight among themselves? Then Krishna thought that okay, let me create a scene externally that they will drink wine and kill among themselves, but internally they'll go to Swarga in order to resume their services in heaven. So this Krishna planned looking at Duryodhana, and eventually they went to Hastinapur. Gandhari cursed, saying that in 36 years from now, just the way you allowed the Pandavas and Kauravas fight among themselves and kill each other, same way your own family members, the Yadavas, will fight among you themselves and kill each other. Lord Krishna was smiling. Oh yes, thank you. I already made a plan, but you made it reality. Externally, people will think that okay, because of your curse, Yadavas are dying. Fine, good. I'm no issue. So Lord Krishna accepted that, but he had to wait for 36 years. Otherwise, if not for Gandhari's curse, that this removal of Yadus could have happened little early only. But Gandhari said so that after 36 years. So, so in those 36 years, Lord Krishna was performing household activities with his queens, 16,108 queens, and all other Dwaraka pastime because now there are no more battles, no more travels here and there, and he was engaged in household activities. But for externally, it may appear that why Lord Krishna is doing all these household activities, supposed to be the Lord, etc., etc. But all his Dwaraka Vasis are not the Jivas of this material world. They are his eternal associates. Whatever he does in the association of his eternal associate, they come under the category of Chit Shakti, not Maya Shakti, or Yoga Maya Shakti, not Mahamaya Shakti. So in Mahamaya, under Mahamaya potency, whatever activities we do, there is a reciprocation. Good activities, good result, bad activity, bad result. So Lord is completely indifferent to the activities of Maya in the material world. But the same Lord is completely attached to perform pastimes in relation to his intimate associates, the Dwarkavasis and the queens and etc. etc. So though Lord was performing all these activities very with intense attachment, but is not bound by any material reactions because they are not come under the purview of Maya Maya. They are under the purview of Yoga Maya. So that's how Lord's transcendental nature has been indicated in the previous section. Now, starting from 24th verse onwards, even to some extent in the second next chapter, there is a description about how Lord Krishna removed the burden of love, the Yadavas, from the surface of the earth. So before beginning that, any questions from previous class or previous classes? Hare Krishna, devotees are there? Any questions?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. So then we'll continue with Bhagavatam class is still going on in the temple. Only few devotees have joined yet. Others have not yet joined.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, lecture is still going on. Hare Krishna.
Hari. I'm sorry. I'm depriving all of you from temple Bhagavatam class.
No, it's okay, Prabhuji.
Even I was hearing till 10:30, just like side by.
This is also
Then
Bhagavatam class, Prabhuji.
Hare
This is
Krishna.
also Bhagavatam.
If temple authorities will come to know this, that we are skipping that class and doing this class, I will be punished. So, but anyway, we'll slowly continue. Others will hopefully will join in few minutes. Yeah. So please, someone unmute and repeat after me. Puryam kadachit क्रीडद्भिर्. Yes, Rajeshwari
Puriya.
Mataji, you can. Yeah, yes. Go ahead.
Can I say, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Puriyam kadachit krida tadhira
Yadu boja kumarakai.
yadu bhoja kumar kai
Kopita munaya sepur.
gopita munaya sepur
Bhagavan mata kovida.
Bhagavan mata kovida. Once upon a time, great sages were made angry by sporting activities of princely descendants of Yadu and Bhoja dynasties, and thus, as desired by the Lord, the sages cursed them. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, after Kurukshetra battle is over, after Gandhari cursed, 35-36 years already completed. Now the last year is going on. So Lord Krishna has to orchestrate the wind up of the pastimes of the Yadavas. So that is what is indicated. He inspired the Brahmanas to utter a curse upon Yadavas, so that taking the excuse of that curse of the Brahmanas and also the excuse of the curse of the Gandhari, Lord Krishna wanted to remove the burden of love from the surface of the earth. So thus what happened? One day in Dwarka, a group of sages. Actually, there was a sacrifice performed by Vasudev. So further, so many sages have assembled there. The sacrifice is over. After sacrifice is over, when the sages had a nice feast and then they were enjoying, they were relaxing, in the sense not enjoying but relaxing. That time the boys, the boys of the Yadu and Boja, dressing Samba as a woman, they brought Samba, that girl, in front of the great sages. And they asked, please tell us, this girl is going to deliver whom? A baby boy or baby girl? So the Brahmanas understanding that the boys are playing a prank with them, and more important than that, knowing the intention of the Lord, Bhagavat Mata Kovida, uttered a curse. Shap de diya. Sepu means shap de diya. They did not give curse because they became angered because the boys are playing pranks with them, but they gave curse understanding the desire of the Lord. Bhagavat Mata Kovida. If you remember taking this verse as a reference, the beginning of the lockdown 2020, I suppose, yeah, our temple has started a series of lectures every day evening. Different senior devotees used to give lectures. That is called Bhagavata Kovida. Bhagavat Kovida series. So different speakers would speak on different themes of Bhagavatam. So they have taken reference from this verse only. Bhagavat Mata Kovida. Having complete understanding of what Lord wants, the Brahmanas uttered a small curse upon the Yadus, saying that whoever may be the child born out of this lady will be the cause of your ruination. That's all. And actually, they dress Samba as a girl and they put a club the iron club, the central portion of the iron club without the handle in the abdomen portion of Samba, so that it will be protrude as if it looks like a pregnant lady. Fine. So then they removed that club and they did not go to Krishna. So that is also inspired by Krishna only. They went to uh, the Ugrasen Maharaj, the king of the Yadavas. They told Ugrasen Maharaj what all happened. Ugrasen Maharaj said, please grind it to powder and threw the powder into the ocean. And they grounded it and they threw the powder into the ocean, and there is only a small portion, a tiny portion of the club was remaining. And that also they threw it in the ocean. The tiny portion was eaten by a fish, and the powder was floating, and went all the way up to Prabhas. And there it grew in the form of canes. The tiny portion which was eaten by a fish, the fish was hunted by a hunter, and when the hunter cut the fish into pieces, he removed that iron piece, and he thought it will be a little nice triangular shape. He grounded it and he used it as a tip of the arrow, and that tip will be used to shoot at Lord Krishna. So like that, it is mentioned like that. All this information is given in the 11th canto. But this is all intention of the Lord. Neither the Brahmanas became angry upon the Yadavas nor Draupadi's curse. Is everything is inspired by the Lord as Paramatma, and then things are happening as per the plan of the Lord. The sages knew the intention of the Lord, Bhagavan Mata Kovida. Thus they had no fault in cursing. The cause of Lord's intention will be described in the at the end of the 11th canto. 11th canto, last two chapters, chapter 30 to 31 talks about the entire pastime, and also the first chapter and sixth chapter. There are four chapters elaborately talk about this entire Mausala-lila in the 11th canto, 1, 6, 30, 31. For more details, you can read that part of the Bhagavatam. So, Lord has the intention and is orchestrating the entire event. So then, that sacrifice completed, the cursing also completed, the Brahmanas dispersed, and time passed. After they threw the powder, the grounded powder into the ocean, it went to the Prabhas and it grew up into the canes. In the meantime, some time passed. So during that time, in order to fasten the activities, Lord Krishna created ill omens in Dwarka, all bad omens in Dwarka, so that the people will get terrified. Okay, these are all due to the curse of the Brahmanas, something dangerous going to happen. When the ill omens came, then all of them approached Lord Krishna. This now they said, when seeing that the ill omens constantly, continuously coming every day, which are actually created by Lord Krishna himself, they approached Lord Krishna on one fine day in the Raj Darbar. They told everything what all happened. So Lord Krishna said, okay, whatever happened, happened. So previously, the moon god also was cursed by Daksha Prajapati. In order to get freed from that curse of of losing his luster, he went to Prabhas and worshipped Lord Shiva, who is called as Somanath. Even after this worship is called Somanath. So in Prabhas Kshetra, Lord Soma went to worship Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva told that I cannot nullify the curse of your father-in-law Daksha, but I can adjust it. The result of the curse of your father-in-law, you will lose your brightness for 15 days, and by my blessings, you will gain your brightness in the other 15 days, and it will continue. So that is the adjustment. So then, so that's why we see the moon 15 days decreasing brightness and 15 days increasing brightness because of this. And eventually the moon, the Lord Shiva there got the name of Somanath, the Lord of the moon god. He said that, so moon god got relieved of the curse in one sense. So let us also go to Prabhas and worship the Brahmanas and Lord Shiva, and let us also get freed from these ill omens and whatever curse uttered by the Brahmanas. Like that, Lord Krishna inspired all of them to go to Prabhas to worship the Devatas, Pitrus, and all the Brahmanas, so that they can be freed from the ill situation. So that is indicated in the next verse. So some other devotee can unmute. Tata Tataha Katipayairmasair
अतः कटिपैर्मासेर्
वृष्णिबोधाञ्जकादया
वृष्णिभोजान्धकादय
ययुप्रभासं संवृष्टा
ययुप्रभासं संवृष्टा
रतैर्देवविमोहिता
रथैर्देव विमोहिता. Translation: A few months passed, and then, bewildered by Krishna, all the descendants of Vrishni, Bhoja, and Andhaka, who were incarnation of demigods, went to Pravasa, while, while those who are eternal devotees of the Lord did not leave but remained in Dwarka.
After several months, as I just mentioned, since the time of the cursing of the Brahmanas, the grinding of the club and it is flowing to Prabhas and the reeds growing up and canes going up, etc. etc. Some time passed. Then, in the meantime, Lord Krishna also created ill omens in Dwaraka. So many bad omens continuously appearing. So, being afraid, they informed Lord Krishna also told that let us go to the Vrishnis, Bhojas, and the Kas in the in forms created by the Lord's illusory energy, joyfully went to Prabhasa on their chariots. So what Lord Krishna did is, here some intermediate leela happened. He told everyone in the daytime in the assembly, and that evening Uddhava approached Lord Krishna in his personal quarters, maybe in Rukmini's palace or so, something like that. Then Uddhava fell flat at the feet of Lord Krishna and told that, you did not invite me to Prabhas. I don't know what is the reason. Plus, I can understand that you want to wind up your pastimes. Please take me along with you. So then Lord Krishna told that, actually my mission is not fully complete. It is still some part is pending. So you are as good as me. So you have to complete my mission. Have not been to Badrikashram. You please go to Badrikashram. Then Uddhava says, how can I live in your separation without you, without your presence? In order to help Uddhava realize the knowledge and they attain Vairagya, Lord Krishna speaks Uddhava Gita in the entire night. The whole night, Lord Krishna spoke Uddhava Gita to Uddhava so that Uddhava will gain knowledge and renunciation, jnana and vairagya, so that even in absence of Lord Krishna, he can continue to remain here distributing Lord Krishna's message to the needful people. Because there are so many other pastimes are waiting for Uddhava to perform, many more pastimes. So one such is he will meet Vidura in Vrindavan. Then he will go to Badrikashram. There he will deliver this message which Lord Krishna gave to Uddhava to Naranara and Rishis and all the other sages in Badrikashram, such as Vyasdev, etc. And then he will come back to Govardhan. He will reside there as Gulmalata on the bank of Kusum Sarovar. Then the queens of Lord Krishna, after Lord Krishna's departure, will come to Vrindavan. Uddhava speaks Bhagavatam to the queens of Vrindavan that Uddhava had heard previously from the gopis of Vrindavan. He speaks the same Bhagavatam to the Krishna pastimes to the queens for 1 month. Then Lord Krishna will appear and take the queens into his Prakat Leela, etc. etc. All these things will happen. So many pastimes are there. Even still today also Uddhava is there in Kusum Sarovar. So that's why Krishna did not take Uddhava along with him. So next morning, all the Vrishnis, Bhoja, Sandaka, they all were traveling to Prabhas. That is indicated here in this verse. But here, though it is not clearly mentioned in the verse, but internal meaning our Acharya says that, so when Krishna comes down, some of his eternal associates came down who are residing in the spiritual Dwaraka. Even his Dham which came down from spiritual Dwaraka to material world. So the Dwaraka was in the spiritual world always remain in Dwaraka only. They don't go here and there. So Lord's eternal associates, they remained in Dwaraka only in an aprakata form. But the devatas who came down to assist the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, such as Kandarpa came down and entered into the body of Lord Pradyumna. Kartikeya came down and entered into the body of Samba. So like that, various devatas came down and entered into various Yadavas. Only these devata portions have traveled to Prabhas. The original associates of the Supreme Lord, they remained in Dwaraka along with Lord Krishna. They entered into Aprakata in Dwaraka. It is said that they are in the Dwaraka even today also in the Aprakata. They cannot be seen by us, but only a pure devotee can experience their presence. Because this Aprakata Dwaraka and spiritual Dwaraka are non-different from each other. So they always remain in Dwaraka, whether in the material world or spiritual world. But in the spiritual world, they are in Prakata. In the material world, they are in Aprakata state. So that's why it is mentioned like this. The Vrishnis are eternally remain in Dwaraka. They do not leave. They remained there, invisible to the eyes of the common people. Their going was an appearance created by the Lord, Deva Mohita. So externally, Pradyumna went to Prabhas, but Pradyumna did not go. Pradyumna remained in Dwaraka only, but the personality who entered into Pradyumna, that was Kandarpa, he went to Prabhas. And from Prabhas, he again goes to Swargaloka and resumes his services in Swargaloka. Only the Devata portions of the Vrishnis became bewildered and went to Prabhas. So, hearing the words of Lord Krishna, being obedient, the Devata portions who appeared as Yaduvas, they all went to Prabhas. So, like that. Then, having gone there, what did they do? Tatra means there in Prabhas. Tatra snatva pitrundevan.
तत्र सत्त्वा पितरं देवान्
ऋषिं चैव तदम्बसा
ऋषिं चैव तदम् अम्बसा
तर्पयित्वात विप्रेभ्यो
तर्पयितृवत्था विप्रेभ्यो
गावो बहुगुणा ददौ.
गावो बहुगुणा ददौ. Translation. After arriving there, all of them took bath, and with the water of this place of pilgrimage, they offered their respects to the forefathers, demigods, and great sages, and thus satisfied them. They gave cows to the Brahmanas in royal charity.
Mhm. So they all went to Prabhas. First thing what they did, whenever we go to holy place, we should bathe. And before bathing, this is the general custom that we should shave, complete head shaven. Whenever we go to holy place, this is the general custom being followed in the past. But nowadays, we are so much passionate about things, but we don't do. But generally, we have to offer our hair to the holy place. In that holy place, take bath in the holy river, and then go for darshan. And also in the meantime, also we have to worship the Pitrus, Devatas, and great sages there, and the Supreme Lord there, etc. etc. All these things will be performed. Bathing there, worshipping the Pitrus, Devatas, and the great sages with its sacred water, they gave the best quality of cows to the Brahmanas. So they requested the Brahmanas to perform a certain kind of yajna wherein they could worship the Pitru Devatas, Pitrus and Devatas and the great sages, etc. etc. When everything is done, they offered a nice charity of cows to the Brahmanas. So that is indicated here. So this verse shows the that the Yadavas are so respectable to the Brahmanas. It is not that they are disrespectful to the Brahmanas. Bahugana means the cows gave plentiful milk. They did not give ordinary barren cows. They gave the cow which has a calf and which is giving plenty of milk, so that the Brahmana can directly make use of the cow milk for his daily spiritual activities such as performance of yajna and other things. Because Brahmanas need to perform yajna continuously, they need a lot of ghee for performing yajna. So they generally used to have a lot of cows which would give abundant of milk. So from that milk they would produce a lot of ghee and that will be used to perform daily yajna, nitya agnihotris. That was the reason behind giving cows in charity to the Brahmanas. So for the sake of ghee, they don't have to go here and there. They have their own home ghee made ghee and they can do nice yajna every day. without fail. So like that. So the next verse talks about what are the other charities they gave. First of all, they gave cows in charity. And next, what they gave? Hiranyam rajatam shayyam
हिरण्यं रजतं सय्यां
vashamshi ajina kambalan
पापं फि अजकनं बलान्
yanam ratan iban kanya
यानां रथाम् इभान् कन्या
dharam vrittikarim api.
रामवृत्तिकरीम् अपि. The Brahmana were not only given well-fed cow in the charity, but also gold coin, bedding, clothing, animal skin-fed blanket, horses, elephant, golf and sufficient land for the maintenance. Hare Krishna.
There are other category of charities also given. So they gave the Brahmanas gold. Hiranyam means gold because gold also needed for various rituals. They use silver. So gold and silver they used to make all the utensils required to be used in the yajna performance. For that reason it is given. And beds for their personal use, bedding, cloth for their very personal use, skins. So skins are basically we have kusha grass mat and the Brahmanas use deer skin mat also sometimes, which are naturally dead. They were not killed forcefully or cruelly. So for various purposes, they use some skin mats also. So that is given, and blankets for personal use, carts for their travel, chariots, elephants, brides. Those young Brahmanas who want to get married, they were given brides also, and land for agriculture purposes because Brahmanas need food grains also. So land is given for them for gaining their subsistence. So everything is given in charity to the Brahmanas. Whatever they need for their livelihood, everything is given in charity so that they can focus on the performance of Yajan, Yajan, Patan, Patan, Dana, Parigraha. So these are the principal activities of the Brahmanas. Yajan, Yajan, performing yajna every day in their own home and engaging the king and all the other Vaishyas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas in the performance of various yajnas. On their behalf, they would Brahmanas perform. Patan, Patan, they would read Shastra, they would teach Shastra, becoming Guru. And Dana Parigraha, they would take all these charities from the kings and they would only keep whatever they need. Whatever excess is there, they would give in charity to others who are in need. It is not that, okay, king is giving charity so that they'll keep everything and keep accumulating. Not like that. The Brahmanas would only keep whatever they need really. And rest all the excess thing, they would give charity immediately. They would don't keep anything extra. That is the nature of the Brahmana. Vrittikarim means the land by which they could support themselves, such as producing food grains and other things, etc. So that's how the charity was given to the Brahmanas. All different things that are needed for the Brahmanas, everything is given in charity. This is all Yadavas are doing in Prabhas. That means they are doing in Prabhas means they were doing the same thing from the beginning. Every time they were doing, and today also they are doing. And finally, and the most important thing, after giving all the charities, they were fed. The Brahmanas are fed sumptuous feast. Yajna Prasad. Annam choru rasam tebhyo.
अन्नं चोरुरसं तेभ्यो
Datva Bhagavad Arpanam.
दत्त्वा भगवत् अर्पणम्
Go Viprartha Sava Sura.
गो विप्रार्ता सबका सूरा
Pranemur Murdabhi.
प्रणेमूर्भुवि मूर्धभी. Thereafter, they offered the Brahmanas highly delicious foodstuffs, first offered to the personality of Godhead, and offered the respective obeisances by touching their heads to the ground. They lived perfectly by protecting the cows and the Brahmanas.
So, yeah, see the culture of the Yadavas. what kind of good culture they have. They have one interesting point here. Dattva Bhagavad Arpanam. The warriors, the Yadavas, whose lives were dedicated to cows and the Brahmanas. Go Vipra Artha. Okay. Their life is dedicated to protect and serve the cows and the Brahmanas. This is the quality of Yadavas. Go Vipra Artha. So the warriors whose lives were dedicated to cows and the Brahmanas, after offering the Brahmanas their tasty food, which was offered to the Lord, Bhagavad Arpanam, they prepared nice foodstuffs and they offered it to Supreme Lord first, and then they offered to Brahmanas. What kind of food? Cha Uru Rasam, tasty food, or different variety of tasty foods. They offered respects on the earth with their heads. So they requested all the Brahmanas to perform the yajna in which they could worship the Pitru Devatas and Devatas and the great sages. And then they offered charities. And then they prepared foodstuffs, variety of foodstuff. They offered it to Supreme Lord Vishnu, the Yajna Purusha. And then they offered the food to the Brahmanas. They served the Brahmanas the variety of foods. And afterwards, they fell flat at the feet of the Brahmanas and offered obeisances at the end. Finally, everything is over and they are offering their obeisances to the Brahmanas. Then they do farewell, they give farewell to the Brahmanas. After the Brahmanas leave that arena, then they will partake on the food. This is the general culture that is followed by the Yadavas in Prabhas. The now question is, the people of this much cultured people, how could they drink wine and fight among themselves? So that question should arise in our mind. The Vrishnis, whose lives were dedicated to the cows and Brahmanas, offered them food, which was first offered to the Supreme Lord. This shows that they were strict followers of Dharma. Thus, their disappearance was completely dependent on the Lord alone. So they, even now also, even in difficult situation also, they are doing it everything perfectly, means they were doing all these things from the very beginning in Dwaraka time and again, whenever Brahmanas would come. This is the culture. So their disappearance is Lord's will alone. Whatever happened that we hear that they fought among them, they drank wine and all, it's only Lord's Leela. He also intended to show that it is not proper for the Brahmanas to show anger upon the Yadavas. So by this section, even the Parikshit Maharaj also, whatever is being discussed nowadays in the Bhagavatam classes daily, so he went to Shamika Rishi asking for some water and some food, etc. Shamika Rishi did not respond and Parikshit Maharaj became angry and put the dead snake around his neck. So that was not the usual culture of Parikshit Maharaj. But it is the Paramatma which inspiring him to do that. And he unknowingly did it, Avashopi, in one sense. But after coming home, he was rethinking that why did I do? I should not have done that. Let me die. Otherwise, my country will get affected by Brahmana's curse. Then he understood that Shamika Rishi's son Shringi cursed him to die in 7 days. He said, okay, yes. Being the king, enough is enough. I'm done. So he made his son the next king and he went to Ganga. And he took shelter of the Brahmanas. He did not show any disrespect toward the Brahmanas. The same way here we can see the Yadavas are showing the respect toward the Brahmanas in a finest way. And how could they do whatever we hear? So in that way. So Lord Krishna wanted to show that it is not proper for the Brahmanas to show anger toward the Yadavas. So by this activity, by this pastime, the Devata portions now separate from the Yadavas, who were eternal associates to the Supreme Lord, and return to their place in Swarga. So through this pastime, through this means, Lord Krishna removed the burden of the love from the surface of the earth, sending them back to Devaloka. This act also includes Lord's sixth Aishwarya, that is Vairagya. This entire pastime displays Lord's Vairagya Leela. By hiding the glories of his devotees, Bhakti, his abode, his pastimes, and his associates, the Lord deceived the materialistic people and produced longing in his devotees. So the transcendental nature of himself, his own abode Dwaraka, and his devotees, the Dwarakavasis and the Bhakti, all these things, Lord Krishna displayed an apparently unexpected lila that the Yadavas drank wine and then they fought among themselves and killed each other. That is only a scene created by the Lord. So like that. That is to hide the secret of bhakti. The devotee Kaunteya Pratijanati Nami Bhakta Pranashyati. So in that way. So Yadavas never drank wine, they never fought among themselves. That is the real thing because the eternal associates of the Yadava, of Lord Krishna, they did not even come from Dwaraka. They entered into Aprakata Dwaraka. So that is what it happened. Any questions till now?
Hare Krishna.
Ah,
Can I ask Prabhuji?
please, please.
Prabhuji, actually this Samba, Samba and the Brahmana's curse happened 35 years back.
No. This happened recently in this year only, 36th year.
But Samba is a very old son, means he's a second older son of the Krishna. So say he's very young. Means you can see in the age wise more than
Wait.
50 years, maybe.
Wait. Don't go further. I understood. So now Krishna is about 125 years. How does he look like?
Yeah.
Did Krishna look like 125
Yeah.
year old man?
16
Same
years.
way, Lord Krishna's sons also would look like young only. Because these are eternal associates of Lord Krishna from coming from spiritual world, na? Why would they become old? Their age may be anything,
No, my
but their
question is that
appearance
this
would
is
be
the
like
childish game.
teenager.
Generally, the
Uh.
yeah.
Prabhuji, please listen completely.
My question is like this
See
teenager and
that
boys generally play. So Samba just play like this.
even though they are aged, but they always appeared like 16 years old boys only. They never grew up further. And why did they play? Lord only inspired him. Lord has to do this pastime, na? Winding up.
Yeah. Yes.
So it is like that.
Okay. Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Yes,
हरि बोल। प्रभु जी, आपने कहा कि जो प्रद्युम्न थे वो द्वारका लीला में नहीं थे, वो विभूति थे, इसलिए वो भगवान के साथ प्रभास गए। तो आई एम नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट पोर्शन।
No. Lord Krishna is called Vasudeva. Balram is called Sankarshana. Pradyumna. These are Chaturvyuha. They are all Vishnu Tattvas only.
या
So
बट आपने
when
कहा
Pradyumna,
वो कांची थे और कांच थे, वो आपने कहा ना कि कांच थे और वो आध्यात्मिक जगत से आए थे, कोई जैसे हाँ, तो वो पोर्शन मुझे समझ में नहीं आया।
See, भगवान का अनुयायी भगवत धाम से भगवान के साथ साथ नीचे आते लीला करने के लिए। उसी समय कई देवता लोग भी भगवान का साथ जन्म लेते हैं। कुछ लोग सेपरेटली जन्म लेते हैं, कुछ लोग कुछ नित्य सिद्ध भक्तों के अंदर प्रवेश करते हैं। तो कंदर्पा entered into Pradyumna.
ओके, तो बेसिकली ही इज एक भगवान के पर्सनल स्वांस थे, लेकिन कंदर्प उसके अंदर एंटर हो गए।
हाँ, भगवान का स्वांशज द्वारका में रुक गया, वो कंदर्पा प्रभास तक चले गया।
ओके, यानी उसकी दो पर्सनालिटी हो गई ना, यू कैन से जो स्वांस थे वो यहीं रह गए और अदर पर्सनालिटी वेंट देयर।
परफेक्ट, राइट।
इवन
अर्जुना के अंदर भी 2-3 पर्सनालिटीज है। अर्जुन भगवान का नित्य पार्षद है, उनके अंदर इंद्र भी प्रवेश किया और उनके अंदर भगवान के दूसरा अंश नरा नरनारायण है ना, नरा
हाँ
भी
हाँ
प्रवेश किया। अर्जुन के
ओके
अंदर 3 व्यक्ति है, अर्जुन भी है, नरा भी है और इंद्र भी है।
इंद्र भी है।
हाँ, लाइक दैट।
थैंक यू प्रभु।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हाँ, यस
I
माता
had
जी।
in one lecture that Lord destroyed all the Vaishnis because they will get the ego that they were with Krishna like that. So that was
Okay.
also one of the reasons. And they have come from that Golok. So they have to go back and take their positions. That's why they were destroyed. That is one reason.
ओके, रहने दो। चलो, अब जो भी हम यहाँ पे भागवत में बताया गया हम उसके बारे में चर्चा कर रहे हैं। कई और रीजन भी रहेगा। ओके।
Hare Krishna Mahoday.
हाँ, यस प्रभु।
Would you mention that Uddhava doesn't means he's still residing in Kusum Sarovar? So
हाँ, यस, अभी भी
even
आप जाके बात कर सकते हैं।
but since he has completed the seva which he has given to him, then why is still residing? Why didn't he went to Dwarka then?
Okay. Is Lord Krishna and gopis are still there in Vrindavan or not?
In Aprakat Leela, they are still there.
They are there. In Dwaraka, Lord Krishna and the queens and all other Dwarakavis are still there or not?
Yes,
Yes, they are.
Prabhuji.
Same way, Uddhava is also there in the Aprakata form, both in Vrindavan and also in Dwaraka. Because that was the desire of Uddhava. After visiting Vrindavan for 2 months, he heard from all the gopis. He developed a desire that I want to be in Vrindavan at least like a Gulmalata. So Lord Krishna fulfilled that desire. So now Uddhava is there as a Gulmalata in the Aprakata-lila in Vrindavan. He's still there.
He will be
And he's also
eternally
there in
there
Dwaraka
as
as Aprakata-lila because he's a Dwaraka Vasi.
okay. So will he be eternally there in Vrindavan as Kundalata?
That's what I'm saying, na. This Bhava Vrindavan and spiritual Vrindavan in one sense not different from each other. Only when the Leela has to be manifested, that time they will become Prakata, and other rest all they will remain Aprakata.
Okay.
Even in Dwaraka also now Dwaraka Leela is going on in Aprakata form. The Nitya Leela is going on.
Yeah. Yes. No, what I was asking because Lord Ramchandra also asked Hanumanji to stay here, like still Ramayana is going on. So is it like Uddhav also
Lord Rama did
orders?
not ask Hanuman to stay here. Lord Rama requested Hanuman to come with him, but Hanumanji said, I want to stay here. So Lord Rama said, okay, now stay here.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Okay. Other devotees have any question?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. So we'll continue the pastime, which is mentioned in the 4th chapter also further. So in the 4th chapter, having heard from Uddhava of the disappearance of Lord Krishna and his dynasty, Vidura went to Maitreya to receive instructions. That will be at the end of the chapter. But now the continuation of the same pastime will be there. This is a big chapter. Today we'll discuss a little bit and next week we'll discuss the remaining. So disappearance of the Yadavas is mentioned in the first 2 to 3 verses. Let us see. Atate tadunjnata
Uddhava uvacha atate tat anugyata
bhuktva pitva cha varunim
bhuktva pitva cha varunim
ya vibramshita jnana
taya vibrahim tajnana
durukter marma pasprushu.
durukair marma pasprishu. Thereafter, all of them, the descendants of Vrishni and Bhoja, being permitted by the Brahmanas, partook of the remnants of the prasada and also drank liquor made of rice. By drinking, they all became delirious and bereft of knowledge. They touched the cores of each other's hearts with harsh words.
So what happened then? Kindly remember what happened till now. They went to Prabhas, they took bath, they cleansed themselves, then they performed yajna, they worshipped devatas, pitrus, these great sages, then they gave charity of cows and all other things to the brahmanas. They prepared food, they offered to the Supreme Lord Vishnu, then they fed the brahmanas, then they fell flat and offered obeisances to brahmanas. Then afterwards, what happened? Then, taking the permission of Lord Krishna, who was there, and also taking the permission of the brahmanas, who just ate and who got up and were about to depart, taking the permission of both Lord Krishna as well as all the brahmanas, the Yadavas ate and drank wine. Te bhunktva pitva cha varunim. They ate the food and they drank the varuni. Varuni is a kind of beverage that has been prepared during the yajna. In the case of devatas, when yajna is even in the past, when yajna is performed at the end, the final oblation is called one kind of asava. So that has been offered to the devatas, and the leftover will be accepted by the participants. So here they also prepared some kind of varuni, a kind of asava, a beverage, sweet beverage, and that has been offered to the devatas, pitrus, and all the rishis, and also all the assembled brahmanas. Then they partook on that. So though Prabhupada and our acharyas translate as wine, it is actually called as a kind of varuni beverage. Even on Balram Jayanti, our temple also offer. They prepare varuni. It is like a condensed honey with all the dry fruits and other things. It is like very heavy thing, honey and ghee and all. So it is being offered to Balramji. Losing their intelligence by the wine, they touched each other's vulnerable spots with harsh words. This is the scene which Lord Krishna was showing to the sages such as Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva wrote it, but actually it did not happen. Taking the permission from Lord Krishna or the Brahmanas, the Yadus ate. They mutually insulted each other. Any of you read Mahabharata completely? पूरा शुरू से एंड तक?
Yes, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji.
Only half till 17 parva.
17 तो मतलब 18 पर्वा सारा देर ना, 17 तक मतलब हो गया.
एक बाकी रह गया.
So if for those who have read, for those who have heard, for those who have watched movie or drama or serial, whatever, Mahabharata. So in the Mahabharata battle, on the 14th day, there was a huge battle between Satyaki and Bhurishrava. So Satyaki was going ahead to assist Arjuna, being sent by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Arjuna along with Krishna both go ahead to kill, what was his name? Krishna, Arjuna had taken a vow to kill that person on the 14th day of the battle. Jayadratha. So Arjuna went and Yudhishthira was not hearing the blowing of the conch shell. So he was thinking that what happened to Arjuna? I'm only hearing the blowing conch shell of Krishna only. Arjuna is not listening because Arjuna is busy fighting. He sent Bhima. Bhima went and he was also busy fighting with so many opponents. There is no information. And then he sent Satyaki. Satyaki was going ahead. But Satyaki was stopped by Bhurishrava. There was a huge fight between Satyaki and Bhurishrava. It went like anything. Both became unconscious. They are not able to get up and fight also. So at one point of time, Satyaki fell flat, unconscious almost. That time, Bhurishrava, out of anger, kicked on his stomach. When the battle is going on, if somebody falls down unconsciously, no one should raise weapon upon them. But uncontrollable Bhurishrava kicked within the stomach of Satyaki, and then he took his sword and he was going to cut off the neck of Satyaki. Then Arjuna was nearby, not exactly nearby, little far, and Krishna looked at Arjuna to do the needful. So when Bhurishrava was about to cut off the neck of Satyaki, Arjuna threw an arrow that cut off the hand of Bhurishrava along with the sword. And Bhurishrava became angry and he began to scold Arjuna. And Arjuna told, if you remember the code of conduct of the war, you should not raise weapon on the warrior who fell down on the ground. So fight should be between two opponent and equal position. So then Bhurishrava understood for his mistake and he sat in the Ashtanga Yoga position and in order to give up his body, raising the prana from Mooladhara Chakra all the way up to Brahmarandhra, and he wanted to give up his body. While he was doing that, Satyaki, who did not know all this, what happened? He regained his consciousness. He only remembered that Bhurishrava was kicking on his stomach. Satyaki had a vow that whoever kicks in my stomach for no reason, on my back and stomach, I'll cut off his neck. Satyaki immediately got up, took a sword and cut off the neck of Bhurishrava. While Bhurishrava was performing meditation. Just like Dronacharya was also performing meditation, hearing that his son Ashwatthama died from Yudhishthira Maharaj. He sat on yoga posture to give up his body. Actually gave up his body. The soul left with the body. Then Dushudumna came and cut off his neck. Same way here Satyaki, while Bhurishrava is about to give up his body, he cut off the neck of Bhurishrava. That happened with Satyaki. That was seen by everyone in the battle. On the other side, on the 18th day, the final battle between Bhima and Duryodhana was done. And Duryodhana was lying almost dead and with bleeding. He's not dead, he's still conscious. And Ashwatthama came to him and he told, do whatever it is. At least kill the 5 Upapandavas. The Pandavas are doing all this for only for the sake of Upapandavas because they will be the next generation kings. If they are died, then whatever Pandavas did is all useless. They should have that misery that they should not live happy anymore. So I'll make you commander in chief and do the needful. So Kaurava said 3 people were remaining. One is Ashwatthama, second is Krutavarma, third one is Krupacharya. So Ashwatthama told Krutavarma and Krupacharya, let us go and fight against the Pandava army in the dead of night and kill them. So Ashwatthama told Duryodhana that no, why Upapandavas? I'll kill the 5 Pandavas and bring their heads. Only seeing their heads you will die. You will lie peacefully. That was the vow he took. So whatever it is, in the dead of the night, he killed everyone with the support of Krutavarma and Krupacharya. All the warriors were killed in the dead of the night while they were sleeping. The 5 Upapandavas and especially Drushtadumna and Shikandi, who were the cause of Bhishma and Drona. Shikandi was the cause of Bhishma's death. Drushtadumna was the cause of Drona's death. And he was very angry with Drushtadumna, especially. Vishwatthama was very angry. He cut off their necks while they were sleeping. The heinous, this thing. And Krutavarma was supporting Ashwatthama in that night battle. So these 2 things happened. Now, after drinking the wine, Krutavarma started criticizing Satyaki for what he did. You cut off the neck of a person who is in the meditation. What kind of heinous act you did? He was criticizing Krutavarma. You cut off the heads of people who are sleeping. So the voice raised. Some people were supporting Kritavarma, some people were supporting Satyaki. Like that, in that intoxicated state, they fought each other. And they in their fight, because there were no weapons at that time because they went to perform yajna, they did not carry weapons. So they were fighting with words first, then they were fighting with hands. They wanted weapons. They looked around, they saw the reeds, the canes which are growing on the bank of the ocean, which were due to the grinding of the maize. And they took all the canes and they began to hit each other with those canes. And thus they killed each other. All the Yadavas died. So that is how this entire scene happened. Those who read Mahabharata, those who heard Mahabharata should remember this. So it happened like that.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, I heard
Yes.
Mahabharata. So, yeah, I can relate with all this what you are telling. Yeah.
Tesham
Everything was-
Maireya Doshena
तेषां मैरेय दोषेण
Vishamīkrita Chetasam
विषमीकृतचेतसां
Nimlochati Ravau Asid
निम्लोचतीरवा आसीत्
Venunam Iva Mardanam.
वेणूनाम् इव मर्दनम्. As by the friction of bamboos, destruction takes place, So also at sunset, by the interaction of the faults of intoxication, all their minds became unbalanced and destruction took place.
Yeah, as the sun was setting, with consciousness distorted, because whole thing happened since morning. Morning they were took bath, they performed yajna. In the noon time they fed the brahmanas, they gave charity and fed the brahmanas. Then eventually late afternoon they also fed themselves. Then they drank wine. They began to criticize, began to fight, and all those things. Everything by the time it was sunset. By the intoxication of liquor, they destroyed each other, just as bamboos by mutual friction start a fire and destroy the whole forest. By the fault of liquor, they destroyed each other as the sun was setting. The sun set and Yadav was also set. Okay, entire Leela completed. So now the question comes. अभी ये सब अच्छा लग रहा है, महाभारत में बहुत डिटेल में है, भागवत में संक्षिप्त रूप में है, but what is the reason? How could the Lord, compassionate to the elevated and the fallen souls, witness the killing of his servants, sons, grandsons, persons most dear like Pradyumna, arranged by himself? How could Lord arrange the destruction of his own kinsmen, his own family members, who for whom he was so loved, so loving? ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? Whoever hear this past time should have this question. हे भगवान का फैमिली मेंबर्स ऐसे कैसे फाइट कर सकते हैं? नहीं होना चाहिए ना. इवन बाहर भी लोग बोलते रहते हैं अभी ऐसा कैसे कोर्ट केस चलता है इस्कॉन के अंदर, इस्कॉन बैंगलोर टेम्पल एंड अदर इस्कॉन, व्हाई दे आर फाइटिंग? इस्कॉन इज सपोज्ड टू बी पीसफुल इंस्टीट्यूशन, व्हाई देयर इज सो मच फाइट? So like that. भगवान स्वात्म मायाया
Bhagavan Swatma Mayaya
गतिम ताम अवलोक्य सा
Gatim Tam Avalokya Sa
सरस्वतीम उपस्पृश्य
Saraswatim Upasprishya
वृक्षमूलम उपाविशत्.
Vrikshamolam Upavishat. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, after foreseeing the end of his family by his internal potency, went to the bank of the river Saraswati, sipped water, and sat down underneath a tree.
हाँ, Hare Krishna, other devotees also please recite. Only Mata is reciting because you are not unmuting and doing, so she is only doing. So please, everyone take part in it. Seeing this action of his Maya, Lord Krishna sipped the water of the Saraswati river, sat down under a tree. So sun was setting, everyone died except two personalities. One was Balramji, other one Lord Krishna. Only two of them were there. Remaining all एक दूसरे से युद्ध करके हो गया. But this entire action by Atma Maya, by Bhagavan's Maya. So now let us understand what exactly happened. This was the action of Maya. It was a convincing display by which common people would think that the Yadavas were destroyed quickly by killing each other. It is only a illusion created by Lord's Maya. It did not happen like that. Sataki and Kritorama did not criticize each other. They did not become intoxicated by drinking that Varuni. The Varuni, it is actually a bona fide offering in the Yajna. It is a sweet dish, heavy sweet dish. It may cause intoxication, but not intoxication in a bad way. So what happened is all a illusion created by Lord's Maya, so that the people of Kali Yuga will be convinced about this. Or during that time, the people who are not firmly situated in Dharma would be convinced of this particular action, and they start criticizing, hey, what kind of devotees are these Yadavas? What kind of Lord or Lord the Krishna is? Is he Lord? If he is Lord, why he is allowing his own family men to kill each other? Why he himself is killing his family men? What kind of Lord is he? If he is Lord, why did he die? Why did he leave his body behind? He was killed by the hunter. Criticizing like that, they start Kali Yuga. Because Kali Yuga has to start. Lord Krishna orchestrated all these events in order to start Kali Yuga. So it was convincing display by which the common people would think that the Yadavas were destroyed quickly by killing each other. This Maya belonged to the Lord, Atma Maya. That Maya therefore could never bewilder the Supreme Lord. Since the nature of Maya is that it does not bewilder the master, its controller. So Maya is under the control of Lord Krishna. It cannot bewilder Lord Krishna. And being bewildered by Maya, Lord Krishna cannot kill his own kinsmen only. It is all a show shown to Vyasadeva, so that Vyasadeva will write, so that the common people of this world would be confused, so that Kali Yuga will begin. That was the whole reason. Therefore, it is said that the Lord saw this action of Maya. Bhagavan Swatmaya Gatim Tam Avalokyasa. He saw the action of his Maya. The Yadavas, such as Pradyumna, eternal associates in his pastimes, actually remained in Dwaraka. The Lord's Nitya Bhaktas are remained in Dwaraka. All the Devatas who had entered into various Yadavas, separating themselves from those Yadavas, came to Prabhasa in those separate forms. They performed yajna, they offered charities to the Brahmanas, they have prepared foodstuff, they offered to the Supreme Lord Vishnu, then they offered it to the Brahmanas, then they fall flat in front of at the feet of the Brahmanas with their permission. They bid farewell to the Brahmanas. Then they ate the remaining foodstuff, the remnants. Then they drank that beverage, that is asava. It is not wine actually, the asava. And then, with the Lord's permission, they return to Swarga. So their pastimes on the Martyaloka is over. After honoring the Yajna Prasad, and after offering blessings to offering obeisance to Lord Krishna with the blessings and permission of Lord Krishna, they return to Swarga. After they return to Swarga, Lord Krishna created an illusion. Or while they were returning to heaven, here Lord Krishna created an illusion, and that illusory scene was shown to Vyasadeva in his meditation. And Vyasadeva wrote that into various Puranas, Mahabharata, Puranas such as Bhagavatam, Padma Purana, Vishnu Purana, etc. They all talk about this entire pastime in detail. So that the materialistic people of this world who are there during that time and afterwards, hearing and reading to this particular Leela, they will be convinced that Yadavas are not devotees, Krishna is not God. Bas ho gaya. Kali Yuga begin. This is the meaning of the Tad Anujnata mentioned in the first verse. They took his permission and returned to the Swarga. Their respective abodes and resumed their respective services. Bas ho gaya. This is what happened. And only two people were left. And Balramji. So Balramji went to the bank of the ocean and he sat in meditation. He converted himself into Sankarshana, the snake, Ananta, and he entered into the ocean and went below the Bhumandala. And Lord Balramji disappeared. And Lord Krishna also came to Saraswati river. He did Achaman, kind of performed his evening Sandhya rites. Then he sat underneath a pipala tree. That will be mentioned in the next verse. Since Balrama.
Hare Krishna
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes, Mataji.
But this isn't Bhagwan has created all things, but it isn't like a bad example for. So why God has to do that? To just bewilder the Kali
To
Yuga
start
people?
Kali Yuga, na, last week also we
That's all.
discussed. Wait. When Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling, it was like Satya Yuga. The entire atmosphere was like that of Satya Yuga. But it is supposed to be the end of Dwapara Yuga. Next Kali Yuga should start. And this particular night, we are discussing about the sunset time, na? Lord Krishna performs on the rites. So at midnight, around 1:30, Lord Krishna will depart. That was the time Kali Yuga started. From tomorrow morning onwards, Kali Yuga should continue. So Kali Yuga will only start when people have doubts about the Supreme Lord and his devotees and Bhakti. Then only Kali Yuga will begin. And that too, just the yesterday it was Satya Yuga, and the next day it should become Kali Yuga. How would that will happen? It is like a drastic drop, na? For the drastic drop to happen, Lord Krishna did all this pastime. That Yadav was drinking wine, fighting, criticizing each other. And he himself left his body. He was killed by a Jara and left his body. That all he did so that Kali Yuga will begin.
Okay, thank you.
For more details, you please read 11th canto, chapter 1, 6, 31, 32. Everything mentioned here briefly is mentioned in detail there.
One doubt is there. Krishna is playing his pastime for attracts people in this world, but another side he is showing bewildering people to showing this Mausala-lila.
Yes. All other pastimes are to attract the devotees and innocent. And this pastime is to bewilder atheists. So, for that.
Okay.
Balrama, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha are parts of the Chaturvyuha. Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha are quadruple expansions. They are eternally with the Lord. Padma Purana makes the following statements. All these are eternally with the Lord. They cannot be destroyed like this. The scene, what is happening here, that cannot be happen like them, like that among them. So some examples are shown here. These Yadavas are all my people, O dear lady. Etehi Yadava sarve mad gana eva bhamini. Lord Krishna is speaking to one of his queen, seems that he's telling that Padma Purana is saying that, oh my dear wife, all these Yadavas are my own people. Why would they fight? Sarvada mat priya devi mattulyo gunashaline. They are eternally dear to me and are equal in qualities to me, O goddess. So like that. So there is another verse also. It says that yata saumitri bharatam yata sankarsha nadaya tata teneva iyante nija lokad yadruchaya. They appear, the Chaturva, the quadruple expansion, the Chaturvyuha, appear on earth by their own will from their spiritual abode as Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna, and Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Ruddha. When I appear as Rama, they appeared, the other three in Chaturvyuha appeared as Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna. When I appear as Krishna, they appear as Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. They are always there with me. They are my eternal expansions. Harivamsha says, in Harivamsha, Akrura says that Devanancha Hitartaya Vayam Prapta Manusyatam. For helping the Devatas, we have appeared as humans on earth. Akrura is also one of the Lord's eternal associate. He came from spiritual world. He says that in order to fulfill the desire of the Devatas, we all came from spiritual world to perform this Leela on the earth. So like that. These are different quotations from Padma Purana and other places. We understand that these are all Lord's eternal associates. They cannot fight like this. Because the Yadavas are eternal associates of the Lord, they will never be destroyed by material means. And even the continuing posts of the Devatas, such as Guha, who had entered into Samba, and others, should not be destroyed. These are all Devatas. Even any living entity who goes to Swarga, they don't have any death there in Swarga. Then how can these people be killed in the Bhuloka? They cannot be killed like ordinary people are getting killed. The killing each other is only a illusory show. Because the Yadavas are eternal associates of the Lord, they will never be destroyed. And even the continuing posts of the Devatas, such as Guha, that is Kartikeya, who had entered into Samba and others, should not be destroyed. That the whole Mausala pastime is illusory. It's not really happened. Though it is illusory, since it is included in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, it is accepted by the inconceivable Yogamaya and it is eternal, existing even in the absence of the material creation. It is eternal in the sense that when Lord Krishna appears in a universe, he then disappears using this Mausala-lila. Wherever and whenever Lord Krishna appears in any universe, he disappears using this pastime as known as Mausala-lila. That's why this pastime always appears everywhere whenever Lord Krishna performs his pastimes. That's how it is also included in the scriptures. So this is what happened internally without seen by others. The people in general who do not have complete faith on Krishna and Bhakti and devotees, they will read this and understand that okay, yes, okay. Yeah. So what kind of devotees are they? What kind of Lord is he? They criticize and then they give the entry of Kali in their heart and Adharma will continue. So like that. A devotee will never be bewildered by hearing such kind of statement. They understand that, okay, acharyas are saying this, okay, it is a scene created by Lord. Okay, yes, it is a scene created by Lord to bewilder the atheistic people. Otherwise, Lord wound up his pastimes in a peaceful manner. So like that. So this is how Lord's pastimes are completed in the earth. So whatever has been explained till now is all like Lord's pastimes are shown as a trailer. The actual movie will be shown in the 10th canto. In order to inspire us to continue 3rd canto, 4th canto, 5th canto, 6th canto, 7th canto, 8th canto, 9th canto, and be patient till 10th canto, a trailer is shown in the beginning of the Bhagavatam only. This is like foreshadowing of the entire Krishna Katha, Krishna Lila, so that we remain patient till 10th canto and then release the 10th canto pastimes in detail.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
So,
हरि बोल
yes,
प्रभु जी.
Mataji.
प्रभु जी, गुहा मीन्स जो रामायण में जो गुहा है वही ना कार्तिकेय?
No, oh Guha nice. This is another
हाँ.
name of Kartikeya. He is known as Skanda, Kartikeya, Kumaraswamy, and also Guha. Different names of him.
Okay.
That Ramayan Guha is different.
Thank you.
Okay. Aham chokto bhagavata
अहम चोक्तो भगवता
प्रपन्नार्ति हरेनः
प्रपन्नाति हरेणः
बदरिं त्वां प्रयाहीति
बद्रीं त्वां प्रयाहीति
स्वकुलं सांजिहिर्षुना.
सकुलं संजिहीर्षुणा. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord is the vanquisher of the distress of one who is surrendered unto him. Thus, he who desired to destroy his family told me previously to go to Badrikashram. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So now that Leela is over and remaining Leelas. The Lord who displays sorrow in his devotee, desiring to withdraw his family from the vision of the world, said to me, go to Badrikashram. So now Uddhava is remembering few things. Like as I mentioned in the beginning, that Lord Krishna told in the noontime that let us all go to Prabhas and worship the Devatas and Pitrus and the great sages and also Lord Shiva, just like Moon God worshipped him at Prabhas. So Somanath. So let's go. In the night, Uddhava came to Lord Krishna, understanding that Lord wanted to withdraw his family and himself from the vision of the world. So when he approached, Uddhava told, my dear Lord, please take me along with you. Lord told, no, you cannot come with me. You have to go to Badrikashram. You have a special mission for Badrikashram. You have to go. Then he said, how can I reside there? How can I remain here without you? Lord spoke Uddhava Gita for the entire night. So then the next day, all the Yadavas headed by Krishna and Balram, they went to Prabhas. After they went there, the next day they performed austerity. I mean, they performed bathing and yajna and worship of devatas, everything. Uddhava also followed. So he reached Krishna late in the evening. He did not reach in the morning. He followed Krishna till late. After some time, he could not remain anymore and he could not go to Badrikashram also. He wanted to see Krishna once again in Prabhas. So from that context it is mentioned. The Lord spoke to me previously at Dwaraka, the entire Uddhava Gita. He also remained there in another form, Aparkata. So when we say that Lord Krishna took all the Yadavas to Prabhas means Lord Krishna did not go there. One actual Lord Krishna, Dwaraka Krishna, remained in Dwaraka only. One of his expansion, just like we heard that Pradyumna had the Devata form, Kandarpa in him, Samba had Kartikeya in him. Like that, Lord Krishna also had many other forms. Like Naranarayan say Narayanaya, the Kshirodaksha Vishnu came in, the Manvantara Avatara, who appeared as Vamana, also came in. They are all there within Krishna. So these other personalities who entered into Krishna when he appeared, they all went to Prabhas. And from Prabhas, they will go to their respective abodes and continue their service. The Manvantara Avatara will continue to looking after Manvantara. Kshirodaksha Vishnu will continue the maintenance of the entire universe for the entire day of Brahma. And Naranarayana say, Narayana will go to Badrikashram and then he will continue his austerities there. So like that, various forms who entered in him, they all disappear. So only those forms went to Prabhas. But Krishna remained in Dwaraka in Aprakata form. The word Cha indicates that Uddhava was sent to Saraswati river at Prabhas, where Lord Krishna again spoke to him. The reasons are, though Lord Krishna told Uddhava that you go to Badrikashram, I am going to Prabhas. So indirectly telling that you please go to Badrikashram, and while passing through Prabhas, you also come to Prabhas and meet me there once again, and from there you go to Badrikashram. Without telling, Lord Krishna told. So understanding the intention of Lord Krishna, Uddhava also went to Prabhas, but with little late. So they all went early in the morning or previous night, we don't know. The whole day they performed all the required rituals and all, everything happened by evening. When evening, after winding up all the Yadavas pastimes, after Balramaji had disappeared, then Krishna did his evening oblations, evening rites, and performed Gayatri and all these things. Then he sat underneath a pipal tree. Then Uddhava comes to meet Krishna in the evening. So, what are the reasons? The first reason is that the Lord wanted to remove the suffering of separation of Uddhava, who was surrendered to the Lord. For Uddhava, everything is happening spontaneously. In the afternoon only came to know that Krishna is telling everyone to go to Prabhas. That means Krishna is leaving. And next day morning he is leaving. He only had opportunity to stay with Krishna only for one more night. So just to alleviate, Lord Krishna told him to come to Prabhas also. So Uddhava went there. The second reason is that the Lord would relieve the pain in the form of longing to hear about Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, and the Lord's pastimes of those living in Badrikashrama, who are also surrendered to the Lord, such as the Lord's portion Naranarayana, by what he would speak to Uddhava, as expressed at the end of this chapter. So, in order to alleviate not only the pain of our Uddhava, even the Badrikashram sages, they were also eagerly waiting to have audience of Krishna. So, in order to alleviate their pain, Lord Krishna requested Uddhava to go to Badrikashram because Uddhava looks same as Krishna, and Uddhava is the one who constantly associates with Lord Krishna. And Uddhava is given the special message known as Uddhava Gita, which he is supposed to deliver to the sages of Badrikashrama, with the knowledge consisting about Bhakti, Jnana, and Vairagya. These are the components of Uddhava Gita. So Uddhava Gita basically talks about Bhakti Yoga. It also talks about Jnana Yoga. It also talks about Ashtanga Yoga. Vairagya means Ashtanga Yoga. These are the three sadhanas which are elaborately explained in the Uddhava Gita. And that information is supposed to be passed on to the sages in Badrikashram. That only Uddhava can do. So that is mentioned at the end of this chapter. अस्मल्लोकादुपरते मयि ज्ञानं मदाश्रयम् अर्हति उद्धव एवाद्धा सम्प्रति आत्मवतां वरा. This is 3:4:30. Now I shall leave the vision of this world, and I see that Uddhava, the foremost of my devotees, is the only one who can directly entrusted with the knowledge about me. So Uddhava can be entrusted with the knowledge about me, so that Uddhava can deliver this knowledge not only to the sages of Badrikashram, he will also deliver this knowledge to the queens of Dwaraka, and also whoever will approach Uddhava now, even today also they will be given that knowledge to through Uddhava. So it is this. And just some connection to this. Recently in Telugu, there was a movie released which is titled as Kartikeya 2. Anyone heard about it?
No,
It was
Prabhuji.
also released.
No,
It
Prabhuji.
was
No.
also released in all the different languages in India, South languages, and
Yes,
also in
yes,
Hindi.
Prabhuji. Yeah, it was
Yes,
a very,
Prabhuji.
it's a hit movie. It's about Krishna and some
Yes,
mystical
yes,
things. Yeah, I have
yeah.
seen the movie.
In that movie, they say that Lord Krishna left behind the ankle belt. That ankle belt will save the world in time of crisis. Eventually, when the atmosphere becomes very bad, the entire atmosphere becomes polluted and people are affected by different kinds of diseases. The ankle bell will produce a kind of from the ankle bell, a kind not ankle bell, that kadiyam. What do you call that? So from that we can produce the medicine to save the entire world. So that movie is taken the same thing in that way. But from Bhagavatam we hear that Lord Krishna left behind Uddhava Gita, which talks about Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, which will save anyone and everyone from the crisis of material world. because in the movie industry, people may not appreciate this knowledge of Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So in the movie, they showed it as that anklet, which will produce a kind of medicine and which will save the entire
What is the name of
world.
movie, Prabhuji?
Kartikeya 2.
Kartikeya 2. Okay. Thanks.
In the beginning of the movie, they actually show some animation script for 5 minutes. They show that when Krishna was disappearing, he told Uddhava that, my dear Uddhava, please keep it with you and it will be useful to protect the entire world in the time of crisis, etc. etc. And also, there is another interesting thing. There are Abhiras. So we hear that after Lord Krishna's departure, when Arjuna goes to Dwaraka and he performs all the final rites of all the Yadavas, then he was bringing all the queens of Lord Krishna to Hastinapur. Then the infidel cowherd boys, they fought with Krishna and they took away the queens of Krishna. That's what we hear from Bhagavatam. Even the first canto also it is mentioned in one of the chapters recently our Bhagavatam classes were discussing. So Acharya say that is Lord Krishna only explained in the form of those boys and then he defeated Arjuna and took away the powers of Arjuna and defeated him and took the queens and put them into the care of Vajranab, who was the great grandson of Lord Krishna, who will be the king of Madura afterwards. So then the cowherd boys have got a particular name, Abiras, something like that. And they were also shown in that movie. It is shown that if somebody want to take away some property which belongs to Lord Krishna, they will kill them immediately. They does not allow anybody to take the property of Lord Krishna. Just like here, Arjuna was taking the queens of Lord Krishna, so did not allow Arjuna to take them away. So they came and defeated Arjuna, took them back. So it's like that. That concept also they showed. In one sense, they showed some authentic concept only, but in a appreciable way to in the modern context. So it's like that. So I'm just
Hare Krishna,
just
Prabhuji.
ah.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. Prabhuji, so can we see, watch that movie?
You don't ask me.
Yes, because generally we
Prabhuji,
don't
why
see,
was
but
it
you
named
are telling.
Kartikeya too?
Because the person's name is Kartikeya, who was doing this detection. He's like a detector. He was a doctor and detector, and he was doing. His name is Kartikeya. That's why it is called Kartikeya. It is the character name in the movie, Kartikeya.
Okay, Prabhuji, understood.
Hmm. Basically, I'm just telling that even though the modern people, because there are many people outside also, they know the concepts and everything, but they present in a way people can appreciate and connect to, and then etc. But one thing I'm trying to correlate is what Lord Krishna likes to be and is Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, which again he taught in the Bhagavad Gita. Whatever Lord Krishna taught to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, he again repeated the same thing to Uddhava in Uddhava Gita. Both are same, there is no difference. But Uddhava Gita goes into more details, that is more elaborate version of Bhagavad Gita. That is what Lord Krishna left behind. Since he did it 2 times, that means it's the most important. Only this one will save the world from crisis. Only this knowledge can save us. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and the knowledge of Uddhava Gita, which talks about Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. There is nothing more than this. So, in that way. Okay. So, we'll move on. I hope I am not confusing, but kindly remember that this Leela and all orchestrated to confuse the atheistic people of this world so that Kali Yuga will begin. But for devotees, even though they hear all these pastimes, they know that the Lord is Lord and whatever he did is only with a purpose. His devotees are also highly elevated devotees. They are not so low that they can drink wine and they get intoxicated and they fight among themselves and kill each other. That is not the quality of devotees. So like that.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji.
Okay, please someone continue. Tatapi tat abhipretam.
तथापि तत् अभिप्रेतम्
Jnanam aham arindama.
Janan aham arindamam.
Prushtato anvagamam vartu.
Prishtato anvagamam bhartu.
Pada vishleshanakshma.
Pada vishleshanakshama. Yet, in spite of my knowing his desire to destroy the dynasty, O Arindama, that is Vidura, I followed him because it was impossible for me to bear separation from the lotus feet of the master. Hare Krishna.
So Krishna told that, okay, we are going to Prabhas. You please go to Badrikashram. So Uddhava did not go to Badrikashram immediately. He waited. He understood that, okay, Krishna want me to come to Prabhas also. So he went to Prabhas. So as everything is over, Lord Krishna sat underneath a pipal tree. So Uddhava went there. Oh Vidura, conqueror of foes. Thus, though understanding his order that I am supposed to go to Badrikashram, unable to bear separation from his lotus feet, I followed after him. They all left in the morning with the previous day, and Uddhava left in the next day, it seems. So, something like that. Abhipretam means that though the Lord ordered that he should go to Badrikashrama, Uddhava understood that Lord Krishna would not give him up so easily, and thus he followed the Lord. Or it can mean that Uddhava understood Lord Krishna's intention to destroy the dynasty. So whatever it is, even Lord also has that affection towards Uddhava. He also cannot tolerate separation from Uddhava. In either way, Lord want to see him and he want to see the Lord once again. So he went to Prabhas. There, what did he see? He reached Prabhas in the evening. When he went there, he saw something astonishing. Adraksham ekamasinam.
Adraksham ekam asinam.
Vichinvandaitam patim.
Vichinvandaitam patim.
Sriniketam saraswatyam.
Sriniketam saraswatyam.
Krutaketam aketanam.
Kritaketam aketanam. Thus following, I saw my patron and master, Lord Sri Krishna, sitting alone and deeply thinking, taking shelter on the bank of the river Saraswati, although he is the shelter of the goddess of fortune.
Yeah. Searching for my dear Lord, who has no abode, and who is the abode of Mother Lakshmi. I saw him alone, taking shelter of the bank of Saraswati river. So, Uddhava also having gone there, he wanted to go to the Lord. It is not that Prabhas means there is nothing else. It is a big city and all, whatever it is, big holy place. He traveled here and there searching out for Lord Krishna. At the end, when he came to the bank of Saraswati, and there he saw Lord Krishna, who took shelter of Saraswati river. Lord Krishna is addressed as having no shelter. Aniketanam. He has no, Aketanam means he has no shelter because he is the shelter of all material and spiritual entities. Everything takes shelter of him. So that's why he has no shelter to take off. But still, he has taken shelter of Saraswati river.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, what exactly does it mean by taking shelter of? Means what actions are there? Like
No.
they,
Where are you staying? Your address.
the other.
The other. In a particular apartment or in a particular independent bungalow or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes,
you are
Prabhuji.
taking shelter of a particular place, a particular building and particular apartment, particular bungalow or whatever. So that's how. And you are also taking shelter of Chowpatty temple, some council system. His Holiness
Yes.
Radhanath Swami Maharaj. We are taking shelter of someone.
Yeah.
And being Mataji, you are also taking shelter of your husband.
Yes.
And your grown-up children.
Okay.
So like that.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So since Lord Krishna is the source of everyone, whose shelter he will take? So we are all ultimately taking shelter of Lord Krishna only. So he is shelterless because everyone is under his shelter only. So that shelterless Lord took shelter of Saraswati river today. It's like that. So the bodily description of Lord Krishna as he sat underneath a pipal tree on the bank of Saraswati river is mentioned in the next verse. Shamavadatam virajam
Shyamavadatam Virajam
prasantarunalocanam
प्रशान्तारुणलोचनम्
द्रोग्भिश्चतुर्भिर्विदितं
चतुर्भिर्विदितम्
पीतकौशाम्बरेण च.
पीतकौशाम्बरेण च. The Lord's body is blackish, but is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, and very, very beautiful. His eyes are always peaceful, and they are reddish like the rising morning sun. I could immediately recognize him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his four hands, different symbolic representation, and yellow silk garments.
Yeah, the darshan of Uddhava has been described here. What Uddhava saw now? One thing he saw that Lord Krishna, the shelterless Lord, took shelter of Saraswati river. The Lord Krishna had a glowing dark complexion. Shama Avadatam. His bodily complexion is glowing dark and tranquil red eyes. Prashanta. He looks very peaceful now. And Arunalochanam. Red eyes. He was completely pure, devoid of material qualities. Virajam. Rajam. Raja means mode of passion and mode of ignorance. He is freed from all the mode of passion and ignorance. He is completely Shuddha Sattva platform person. I could recognize him by his yellow silk cloth. Pita Kausha Ambarenacha. Uddhava saw from distance. There is a person in blue monsoon cloud color and he was wearing yellow garment. So he understood that he is Krishna only. And he also had 4 arms. Chaturbihi Dorbihi. He had 4 hands. Now, because Lord Krishna is going to disappear his pastimes, he assumed the 4-handed form because, as I mentioned that, the Dwaraka Krishna remained in Dwaraka only. The 2-handed form of Krishna Dwaraka remained there. But the other personalities who entered him, the Manvantara Avatara, the Guna Avatara, the Yuga Avatara, Narayana Rishi, they all are 4-handed forms. They need to go back. So now he has 4 hands. So in that way. Then what else Uddhava saw? Vama Urao Adishritya
वामौराव अधिसृत्य
Dakshinangri Saroruham
दक्षिणाग्रिसरोरुहम्
Apashritarbakaswattam
अपार्श्रितः भाकस्वातहम्
Aparshita Arbaka Ashwattam. Aparshitarbaka Swattam.
अपार्श्रित अभ्रक स्वातहम्
Abraka nahi Arbaka. Okay. Akrisham Tyaktapipalam.
अकृशं त्यक्तपिप्पलम्. Translation: The Lord was sitting, taking rest against a young banyan tree, with his right lotus foot on his left thigh. And although he had left all household comforts, he looked quite cheerful in that posture.
His right foot was placed on his left thigh. He was sitting on a Sukhasan. So like 1 feet down below, the second feet will be above the first feet. If you keep like that, that is called Sukhasan. So Lord Krishna sat in that Sukhasan. So the left feet is below, down below, and the right foot is kept on the thigh of the left thigh. So and he was leaning against a young Ashwatha tree. Apashrita Arbaka Ashwatam. A small, Arbaka means a small, young Ashwatha tree. Apashta, he took shelter of Ashwatha tree means he was leaning his back onto the young Ashwatha tree. Giving up his pastimes in this world, he was blissful. Takta Pippala means he was about to wind up his pastimes. He had his right foot placed over his left thigh. His back was leaning against a young Ashwatha tree. So, anyone remembers Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text number 1.
ऊर्ध्वमूलम् अदाशाकम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम्
बस
तन्त्राणि
उतना
यं
काफी है.
सपर्णानि.
So there it is talked about Ashwatha tree. So in that section, the meaning of Ashwatha is mentioned. Ashwatha means it is divided into three parts. A, Swa, Ha. Na Swa Tishtati. What does not last till tomorrow. In Sanskrit, Swa means tomorrow. Ashwatha means that which will not stay till tomorrow. It is called Ashwatha. The material world is compared to the Ashwatha tree in the Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter. That means, though it is the material world is real, but it does not remain eternally. It does not stay eternally. It is only time bound. So Lord Krishna leaning his back toward the Ashwatha tree in a way indicates that I have come to this material world, which is compared to Ashwatha tree. Now, leaving behind that Ashwatha tree, I am going out. So keeping the tree behind Lord Krishna means, so I am going out of this material world, because the Ashwatha tree is compared to the material world. So that is the understanding. This refers to the material world made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, and ether, which is temporary. Maya stands behind the Lord. May materialistic people not see me. So the universe made up of Maya in the form of Ashwatha tree is situated behind Lord Krishna, so that the materialistic people will not see Krishna. Even if they see towards Krishna, Krishna's back only will be seen. They cannot understand whether it is Krishna or somebody else. Unless until they see front side of Krishna, they will not see. That's why Krishna is turning his back toward the tree. So because his pastimes are over, this is the intention of Lord Krishna's actions of leaning against the Ashwatha tree. So it is like that. Till now, he was giving it darshan to the people of this world for the last 125 years. Now things are done. He has to go back. So he kept the world behind him and is leaving this universe. So that is the understanding of leaning towards a Ashwatha tree. The tree is described as young to indicate that among all the universes, this universe is very small. Our universe is called Arbaka Pipalam, small universe, one of the small universe, because our Brahma only had 4 heads. There are many other universes that are very big because their Brahmas have multiple heads. Takta Pipalam means that the Lord had given up his pastimes in this world. Since the word Pipala refers to the material happiness in the Shrutis. There is a verse which Prabhupada quotes many times in the Bhagavad Gita. This is from Shvetavatar Upanishad 4.6, which says that Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakaya Samanam Vruksham Pari Sasvajate Tayor Anya Pipalam Sadhu Atti Asannan Anyobi Chakshasiti. 2 companion birds sit together in the shelter of the same pipala tree. Okay. One of them is relishing the taste of the tree's berries, while the other refrains from eating and instead watches over his friend. Basically, this tree here is compared to the human body. And one branch of the tree is compared to the heart. On top of that branch, there are 2 birds compared to the Jivatma and Paramatma. So one bird is busy eating the fruits of the tree, the berries. The other bird is busy, other bird is peaceful and waiting for the first bird to look at him. So that this Prabhupada quotes many times in the Bhagavad Gita. So bird is not interested in enjoying the fruit. The people refers to the material happiness in the Shrutis. The other bird is busy eating berries. The second bird is not at all interested in the berries. So Lord Krishna is like that. He is no more interested in this material world anymore. He is indifferent to this material world because his time is over. He is going back. So like that. So then what happened? Tasmin Mahabhagavato
तस्मिन् महाभागवतो
Dvaipayana Suhrusaka
Dvaipayana Sukrut Shaka
Lokan Anucharan Siddha
Lokan Anucharan Siddha
Asasadaya Druchaya.
Asasadaya Druchaya. At that time, after traveling in many parts of the world, Maitreya, a great devotee of the Lord and a friend and well-wisher of the great sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, reached that spot out of his own perfect accord.
So Uddhava went there and offered obeisances and kind of looking at each other. At the same time, the great devotee Maitreya, who is the friend of Vyasadeva, while walking over the surface of the earth, suddenly appeared at that famous place. While Uddhava meeting Lord Krishna, at the same time Maitreya also came there. Maitreya is called close friend of Dvaipayana Vyasa because he was like a son of his guru, Parashara, who was Vyasadeva's father. Yadruchya means suddenly. So, both Vyasadeva and Maitreya studied under Parashara Muni. Parashara is the father of Vyasadeva and Parashara treated Maitreya as his own son. So, Parashara treated both Vyasadeva and Maitreya as his two sons. Thus, Maitreya and Vyasadeva became close friends. That's why it is mentioned. Suru Sakam, Dvaipayano Suru Sakam. So, Vyasadeva's close friend Maitreya came there. So, then what happened? Because both of them came there, so Lord Krishna has to invite both of them and has to speak few words to both Maitreya and Uddhava. Tasyanuraktasya munirmukunda
Tasyanuraktasya munirmukunda
pramodabhavanatakandarasya
Pramodabhavanatakandarasya
ashrunvato mam anuragahasa
Ashanvato mam anuragahasa
samikshaya vishramayan vivacha.
Samikshaya Vishramayan Uvacha. Maitreya Muni was greatly attached to him, the Lord, and he was listening in a pleasing attitude, with his shoulder lowered, with a smile and a particular glance upon me, having allowed me to rest. The Lord spoke as follows.
Hare Krishna. Although other devotees who have not recited today's class should recite now on. All those who recited should not recite. Lord Krishna spoke Mukunda Uvacha to the sage Maitreya because Maitreya came just now. So looking at Lord Krishna spoke to Maitreya, who was attached to the Lord and attentive to listening, whose head was bowed down, bowed towards Krishna out of love and joy, while glancing at me with affection and smiling. This relieved me of fatigue. Okay, it is otherwise. So both Maitreya and Uddhava came to Lord Krishna, and Maitreya is said to be attached to the Lord and attentive to listening, and whose head was bowed out of love and joy. So then Lord Krishna, glancing at me with affection and smiling, spoke to Maitreya. So Uddhava is saying that, so Lord Krishna spoke to Maitreya because Maitreya came just now and he is elder and out of courtesy speaking to him. But while speaking to Maitreya, Lord Krishna was glancing at me in order to relieve my fatigue of traveling from Dwaraka to Prabhas. And also, very soon I will be separated from Lord Krishna, and other way Lord Krishna also going to be separate from me. It is a mutual reciprocation. So in order to alleviate the pain of separation, Krishna was looking at Uddhava so that Uddhava will be pacified completely. But he was speaking to Maitreya because out of courtesy, because Maitreya is eldest of the three. So in that sense. Though Maitreya is described by Uddhava with many pleasing words, Lord Krishna actually spoke to Uddhava since he had more prema than Maitreya. So Uddhava had more love towards Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna's speech is actually intending to Uddhava only. But since Maitreya is all there, out of courtesy, out of etiquette, Lord Krishna was speaking to Maitreya. The speech was actually meant for Uddhava. So in that way. Thus the words describing Maitreya are to show lesser respect to him. Lord Krishna glanced at me, showing his affection, or Lord Krishna glanced with smiling and affection. So like that. That is to show Lord Krishna's special affection towards Uddhava than Maitreya. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that Uddhava is considered to be Shuddha Bhakta and Maitreya is considered to be Jnana Mishra Bhakta. So Maitreya is filled with Aishwarya Jnan about the Supreme Lord. And Uddhava is filled with Madhurya Jnan because he went to Vrindavan and he heard from gopis. He was a completely changed person. Before meeting gopis, Uddhava was also Aishwarya Bhakta. But after meeting gopis, he has completely transformed. So he had a special love for Lord Krishna. So in that way. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sri
Shri
Bhagavan.
Bhagavan Uvacha.
Those who have not recited till now in the morning, though they should only repeat. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri
Shri
Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Uvacha. Okay,
Uvacha
Prabhuji, you go ahead. I will not.
वेदाहमन्तर्मनसीप्सितं मे
Vedamantara Manasa Smitam Se
ददामि यत्तदुरवापमन्ये
Dadami Yatta Duragapam Anyati
सत्रे पुरा विश्वसृजां वसूनाम्
Shastre Pura Vishwasujam Vasanam
मत्सिद्धि
Vasunam
कामेन वशो त्वयेष्टा
Mata Siddhikamena Vaso Tyasista.
Yeah. Read the
Translation.
translation.
O Vasu, I know from within your mind what you desire in the days of your Yore, when the Vasus and other demigods responsible for expanding the universal affairs performed sacrifices. You particularly desire to achieve my association. This is very difficult to obtain for others, but I award it unto you.
The Lord said, O Vasu, Uddhava is also an eternal soul of the Supreme Lord and also a Vasu came from Svargaloka, entered into Uddhava. So referring to that Vasu, Lord Krishna is speaking. O Vasu, I know the desire in your mind, in your heart. I will give you what is rarely attained by others. At a sacrifice performed by Lord Brahma and the Vasus, you worshipped me with a desire to attain me. Veda stands from Vedmi. I know. I will give you what is difficult for others to attain. Duravapam Anyay. Because you are previously Vasu, at a sacrifice in which Brahma and the Vasus participated. I was worshipped by you with a desire to attain me. Actually, this Vasu who performed that sacrifice for the pleasure of Lord Krishna entered into Nityasiddha Uddhava. Even though Uddhava is a Nityasiddha, here he is revealed as a Sadhana Siddha along with Maitreya to protect the secret of his eternal pastimes. So in Uddhava, there are three personalities. One is Uddhava coming from spiritual world, other one is Vasu, and third one is Brospati. We also discussed this in the previous class that Brospati appeared as Dronacharya. He thought that as Dronacharya will be acting in the negative pastimes of Lord Krishna. So I want to act in the positive pastimes of Lord Krishna also. So he entered into Uddhava. So thus he was doing positive pastimes with Lord Krishna also. So Uddhava is three personalities. Uddhava, Vasu, and Dronacharya. Not Dronacharya. What is the name? Brahaspati.
Brihaspati.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, why Vasu is entered into Uddhava's body? In any
Because Lord Vishnu told all the devatas, na, my dear devatas, all of you take birth in the earth in order to assist my pastimes. Everyone had to appear, na?
like Bhishma Deva is caused by the. This is not.
Yeah, Bhishma Deva is the one Vasu and Uddhava is another Vasu. There are different Vasus are there, na? The different Vasus appear differently.
Okay.
So the 8 Vasus are there and they have children. They are also called Vasus. So Vasu is not one person, 8 fathers and their children also called Vasus. And who was this person? I don't know, but one of the Vasus in that Vasu family.
And like Bhishma is coming by caused by the
Prabhuji,
Brahmas.
Bhishma is one Vasu and Uddhava is one Vasu. Even Nanda Maharaj also, one of the Vasus entered into Nanda Maharaj. Dara and Drona, who performed austerities to Lord Brahma, they request that we want to witness all the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So they entered into Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. They are also Vasu, one of the Vasus.
Okay.
So there are different, that's what I'm saying, na? 8 principal Vasus are there and their sons also called Vasus. Individually, they may have a different name, but altogether they are called Vasus, like the 5 Pandavas. The Pandavas are the sons of Pandu, they are called Pandavas, but they themselves have names. One is Arjuna, one is Bhima, one is Yudhishthir. So like that, there are different Vasus. And Pandavas children also called as Upa Pandavas. For them also the Pandavas comes, tagline comes. So like that. Some say that the eternal Uddhava stayed in Dwaraka and the Uddhava who was Vasu came to the Saraswati river and he went to Badrikashrama and again he came back and then he went to heaven afterwards. Like that some acharyas say. But in any case, the overall pastime of Uddhava is indicated here. Maybe we will discuss about that remaining things at the end of this chapter where Uddhava liberation is also mentioned end of this chapter. So it is like that. So Mataji, Saesha Sadho Charamo Bhavanam.
स एष साधो चरन्मो भवानाम्
आसादितस्ते मदनुग्रहोय
आसादितस्ते मद अनुग्रहो यत्
यन्मां नृलोकान् रहौ सृजन्तम्
यन्मां नृलोकान् रहा उत्सृजन्ताम्
दिष्टा ददृश्वन् विशदानुवृत्त्या
दिष्ट्या दद्रश्वन् विषदान उवृत्त्या
Oh Uddhava, this will be
O
your
Uddhava,
last birth. Okay, I will only read. Oh
O
Uddhava,
Uddhava, this will be your last birth.
Oh, honest
Mataji,
In this
one,
birth, you have
your present life is the
sorry.
last and the supermost. Because in this term of life, you have been awarded by my ultimate favor. Now you can go to my transcendental abode, Vaikuntha, by leaving this universe of conditioned living entities. Your visit to me in this lonely place, because of your pure and unflinching devotional service, is a great boon for you.
yeah, thank you. So Lord Krishna is telling that you are actually Vasu, one of the Vasus, and all of you Vasus performed a special sacrifice for my pleasure, headed by Lord Brahma, and there you prayed that you want to attain perfection. And Lord is saying that in this life you will attain perfection. So previously I said that the Vasu went back to Swarga, but not. He did not go to Swarga. He went back to spiritual world. Because this Vasu wanted perfection, Lord Krishna is telling here, this will be your last birth. Since in this birth you have attained my mercy, and with great devotion in this private place you have seen me, who am now giving up this world to go to Vaikuntha. This also produces good fortune. So, my dear Vasu, as per your prayer, you appeared in my family, in the same family, and you had a constant association of me, and you have perfected your life. You will not take any more births in this material world. You will go to my spiritual abode. As and more than that, you have also come here to see me while I am going to Vaikuntha, and hence you will also go to Vaikuntha. Seeing me at this time while I am going to Vaikuntha produces good fortune unto you. So like that. So thus Lord Krishna pacifies Uddhava. Among many births, this birth in which you have attained my mercy is the last. No more future births. And also you have seen me in this lonely place with pure devotion. This produces good fortune unto you. So Lord Krishna is speaking to Uddhava only. In these verses we can see clearly. The Lord is about to give up the places of all the jivas and attain to Vaikuntha. Because as we mentioned that all the different personalities who are responsible for the maintaining the institutions, they all entered into Krishna. Like Manvantara Avatara, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Narayana and others. Now they are all going back to their respective places. So like that. So Lord gave complete assurance to Uddhava. My dear Uddhava, please do this remaining service and come to my spiritual abode. Though I am going in advance, you may come little late after doing your remaining service. So like that. पुरा मया प्रोक्तमजायनाभे पद्मे निषन्नाय ममादिसर्गे ज्ञानं परं मन्महिमावभाषम् यस्सूरयो भागवतं वदन्ति
in the lotus millennium, in the days of your age, and the beginning of the creation, I spoke unto Brahma, who is situated on the lotus, then rolled out of my knowledge. About my transcendental glory, which the great sages described in the Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, now Lord is telling that previously at the beginning of the creation, I spoke to Lord Brahma sitting on his lotus, who was sitting on his lotus in a lake of my navel, the lotus which produced from the lake of my navel, the highest knowledge which reveals my pastimes and which the devotees call the four essential verses of Bhagavatam. All of you are expert in this. Recently only all of you studied in the 9th chapter of the second canto. All of you know what happened at the beginning of the creation, how Brahma was produced and how Brahma performed austerities, how he had darshan of Vaikuntha, Lord Vishnu, Mother Lakshmi and all the Vaikuntha Vasis, and how Lord Vishnu spoke to Brahma the four essential verses of Bhagavatam. That is indicated here. All of you spoke and also gave presentation and then gave exams, studied everything. Here the Lord describes what he promised to give Uddhava. Previously, at the beginning of creation, I spoke Brahma, the highest knowledge, which reveals my pastimes and which the devotees call the four essential verses of Bhagavatam. Adi Sarge means the first day of Brahma's life. See Bhagavatam 2nd canto 8th chapter 28th verse. I spoke that knowledge which reveals my pastimes unto Lord Brahma. This is what Sri says. And other Acharya says that Mahima means glories. The Bhagavatam refers to the four essential verses. Or other Acharya says that I spoke to Brahma the glories of my various incarnations. So either way we can take in the man Mahima Bhagavatam Vadanti. So Bhagavatam mainly that which Lord spoke to Brahma in the form of four slokas are that which Lord spoke to Brahma describing the glories of Lord's various avatars. Both are called Bhagavatam. So Lord is indicating that I spoke the knowledge of all my wonderful pastimes unto Lord Brahma at the beginning of the creation. So then, if further continues. इति आद्रोक्तपरमस्य पुंसा
इति आद्रोक्तपरमस्य पुंसाम्
प्रतीक्षणानुग्रहभाजनोऽहम्
रक्तिच्छनाभ अनुग्रहभजान्वहम्
स्नेहोत्तरो मा स्खलिताक्षरस्तम्
स्नेहोत्तरो मा स्खलिताक्षरस्तम्
मुञ्चन् शुचन् प्रङ्लयैरावभासा
चुक्च प्रजालिर्भावभासे. Translation: Uddhava said, O Bidur, when I was thus favored at every moment by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and addressed by him with great affection, my words fell in tears and the hairs on my body erupted. After smearing my tears, I, with folded hand, spoke like this.
Now Uddhava is saying, when the Lord respected and spoke to me in this way, though Maitreya was there and I am there, the Lord was speaking to me only. He was telling me that you are Vasu, performed yajna and you prayed for this and this is your last life, you have to come to me because you have realized the same knowledge which I spoke to Brahma at the beginning of the creation. So Buddhava was very much, what you can say, bhavuk ho gaya. He was very much grateful to the Lord's reciprocation towards him. When the Lord respected me and spoke to me in this way, I became the recipient of the Supreme Lord's special mercy. At every moment, my hair stood on end in prayer and my voice choked up, tears flowing from my eyes. I spoke with folded hands. Then I replied to the Supreme Lord. In this way, the Lord respected and spoke to me. Pratikshana means consideration. The Lord had previously considered. No one except Uddhava knows about counseling. He should come to me. This will happen in the future. So Uddhava is thinking that by using the word pratikshana, Lord is thinking that so no one but Uddhava knows what to be done in a critical situation. So Lord Krishna would always take counseling from Uddhava. And another meaning of pratikshana means at every moment. I was the recipient of his mercy at every moment, or I was the recipient of his mercy after he considered that I should get instructions. So now, by Lord Krishna's special display of affection towards me, now I can live happily executing Lord's mission for as long as it required. I will not be, I mean, in like just by reminiscing this one particular event, I can continue to live to fulfill the mission of the Lord. So in that way, Uddhava is feeling happy for Lord's special reciprocation. As a result of that, out of love for the Supreme Lord, the tears are flowing from his eyes, and he is not able to speak. With choked voice, with folded hands, he began to speak to Lord Krishna. The next two verses are very important. They may be asked in your exam also. Kindly pay attention. And we try to discuss these two verses for today. And we'll close for today. Maybe it is 12:50. Hopefully, we'll complete these two verses. कोन्वीशते पादसरोजभाजम्
कोन अपि ईश्वते पादसरोजभाजम्
सुदुर्लभोऽर्थेषु चतुष्षपीह
सुदुर्लभो अर्थेषु चतुष्व अपीह
तथापि नाहं प्रवृणोमि भूमन्
तथापि नाहं प्रवणोर्मि भूमन्
भवत्पदाम्भोजनिवो निसेवनोऽस्तु का
भवत्पदाम्भोजनिसेवनो उत्सुका. Translation: O my Lord, devotees who engage in a transcendental loving service of your lotus feet have no difficulty in achieving anything within the realm of the four principles of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. But, O Great One, as far as I am concerned, I prefer only to engage in loving service of your lotus feet.
Okay, thank you. So, what among the four goals of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is difficult to achieve for one who worships your lotus feet? O Lord, I therefore do not accept these things, since I am enthusiastically engaged serving your lotus feet. My dear Lord, what cannot be accomplished for your devotees in relation to Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha? Being your devotee, one is always obtained everything. So like that. But I don't want all these things. Do you desire to give knowledge of yourself so that I, your servant, can attain sarupya or liberation from the material world? Certainly not. Among the four goals of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, which of these is rare for those who worship your lotus feet? My dear Lord, if you think that you want to give me Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, the results of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, no, I don't want. Your devotees easily attain them as byproducts. I am not interested in them. And Jnana, without these Jnana, without these desires, will bring about the results of liberation only by worship of your lotus feet. Just by having the understanding that who you are, your transcendental nature, without thinking about anything only, everything will be attained automatically. Because having knowledge about you, understanding you tatvena, will avoid everyone, everything. I do not accept these things which are attained automatically. Since I am enthusiastically engaged in serving your lotus feet, what use do I have for jnana? What is the use of other things? Since I am already engaged in your service of your lotus feet, I just want to continue that. I don't want anything else. Which people attain by the practice of dharmartha kama moksha. By practicing dharmartha kama, they go to swarga. By practicing sadhana, different sadhana like jnana, yoga, they attain moksha. I don't want all these things. They are simply byproducts. I'm not interested in them. Then he continues that we servants attain supreme bliss by seeing and remembering your form, your qualities, and your pastimes. Knowledge of these items also is not sufficient because it is impossible to know completely because of our meager knowledge. Many pastimes are contrary to logic. I am now asking about this in two verses. So he says that we don't want knowledge about your Aishwarya. We are interested in knowing the knowledge of your form, qualities, and pastimes, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. Even that also, we don't have qualification to understand everything in detail because your pastimes are unlimited, and even those pastimes which here they are apparently contradictory. Very difficult to understand how they are. For example, I state some of you like that. Uddhava says that please kindly clear me these contradictions in your pastimes. We hear these pastimes, we see, we witness. But हमको confused लगता है. We get confused by these pastimes. So this 16th and 17th Uddhava says some of the contrary pastimes which bewilder Uddhava also. So what are they? We'll see. Karmananihasya bhavo bhavasyate.
कर्माणि
कर्माणि यस्य भवो भवस्य ते
Durga shrayotari bhayat palayanam.
दुर्गाश्रयोद्धारिमायत्मलायम्
Kalatmano yat pramadayutashrama.
कलात्मनो यत् प्रदात्मयुताश्रम्
Smatman rate kidyati dhir vidamaya.
स्वात्मने प्रति विदात्मिः. O my Lord, even the learning sages become the disturbed in their intelligence when they see that your greatness engages in the fruitive work, although you are the free from all desire. That you take the birth, although you are unborn. That you flee out of the fear of the enemy and take shelter in the fort, although you are the controller of the invisible time. And that you enjoy the household life surrounded by many women, although you enjoy in yourself. Thank you.
Yeah. So these are all contrary pastimes of Lord Krishna's pastimes, which Uddhava is seeking for clarification. You are without action, but you perform action. Karma ani anihasya. Aniha means no activity, and karma means all activities. You are a person of without activities, but you perform all the activities. You are without birth, but you take birth. Bhava, abhavasya. Abhava means you are birthless, but still you take birth. As the son of Devaki, as the son of Kausalya. You are the form of time, Kalatmana, but you flee in fear of enemies. Ata, Aribayat Palayanam, the fear of Kalayavana and what is the name? The mama of Kamsa, Jarasandha. You left to Madura and go to Dwarka. What is this? You have to act as if you are afraid of the Jarasandha and take shelter of a fort, Dwarka. You are self-enjoying, Swa Atman Rate. You are Atmarama, but accept household life with thousands of wives as if without them you can't enjoy. The intelligence of the wise man is bewildered by this. These are four activities of the Lord which bewilders me. When I see them, what is this? It is contrary to your position, contrary to your transcendental nature. You are without action, yet you perform activities such as lifting Govardhana. So here, there is a kind of analysis is there. The Lord has multiple activities. In the form of Vishnu, he also performed the creation activities. But in the in the category of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, Lord is not involved directly. He just looks at Maya, and Maya performs all the activities and all the creation, maintenance, annihilation, everything is happening just by the glance of Mahavishnu only. Lord don't have to do anything in person. But in the case of the pastimes, whatever he performs, whenever he appears in this material world in the form of different avatars, he is actually doing all those activities. There we cannot say that he is not doing anything. He is actually doing. That's what we hear, and we get mesmerized by those pastimes, and we get attracted to him. So one such pastime is lifting Govardhan. Actions of creation of the universe are not included since it is done directly by Maya and the three gunas of Maya. You are indirectly involved. Your Sarupa does not contact matter. So Lord Sarupa does not perform creation, maintenance, and annihilation pastimes. They are performed by Maya only under the supervision of Mahavishnu. Thus, when the Shrutis describe you as having no action, there is no contradiction if action refers to the creation of the material world. The Vedas and the Shrutis, the Upanishad, when they say that Lord is Akarya, Lord has nothing to do. The Brahman has nothing to do. Yes, the Brahman or Mahavishnu has nothing to do in relation to creation, maintenance, and annihilation, because those activities are done automatically by Maya. But the Vedas say that they define the Brahman in Shvetavadana as that Nishkalam, Nishkriyam, Shantam, Niravadyam, Niranjanam. The Lord is without parts. Nishkalam, there are no divisions in him. Nishkriyam, there are no activities. Shantam is completely peaceful. Niravadyam, he has no fault. Niranjanam, he is without blemish. Or Niranjana means he has no other modes, no passion and ignorance. This is a yeah. But activities such as lifting Govardhana are performed by your Swarupa. This is a contradiction to your quality of non-action. This is my doubt. The scriptures say that you are Nishkriya. Yes, as Mahavishnu, you are Nishkriya. But when you appear in avatars, you perform various pastimes such as lifting Govardhan. But ये कैसे हो सकता है? You are not supposed to do anything. Why are you doing all these things? You are the human form of the Supreme Brahman. In human form, you perform unlimited spiritual actions. But in the form of Brahman, there is no material or spiritual action. The Brahman does no activities or material action or spiritual action. But when you appear so many spiritual actions. Apparently, people may consider to be material activities, but you perform all the spiritual activities. So how to understand that? The second thing, you take birth, though you have no birth. You are Aja, you are unborn. Bhagavad Gita also Lord Krishna says, Ajo Pisa Navya Atma Bhutanam Ishwaramimam. Sambhavami Atma Maya. Prakriti Swam Adhishtaya Sambhavami Atma Maya. Say that. You take birth, though you have no birth. Though you are the form of time itself, you flee out of fear of enemies like Jarasandha and take shelter of the fort in the sea, Dwaraka. Though you enjoy in yourself with thousands of women, you are engaged in household life with performance of rites for the Devatas and Pitrus. आपको ये सब कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं. But still as a householder you perform every ritual that is need to be done in the home. What is this? You are attracted to these things though you enjoy in yourself. It is not that you are superficially doing all these activities. You actually do with intense attachment, intense attraction, and with complete involvement. By enjoying with Rukmini and other wives, you do not destroy your status as self-enjoying, because they are all expansions of yourself only. Whatever activities you perform, they are all in relation to your eternal associates. They are not within the material world. They do not belong to the purview of Mahamaya. Thus, those activities cannot be called as activities. Though you perform activities, they are all spiritual activities. They don't have any material attributes. That I know. Therefore, I have used the word ashrama. That part is contradictory. I know that whatever activities you perform in relation to Rukmini and all, that is fine. But you perform the activities such as performing an yajna in which you worship the devatas. That is a activity which is supposed to be done by the people of this world. आप वो भी करते as if you are a householder, as if you are part of Growth Ashram. So that bewilders me. वो करने की जरूरत नहीं आपको. यहाँ का देवताओं को पूजा करने का जरूरत नहीं आपको. But as a गृहस्थ, as a householder, you perform that also. That bewilders me. And then not only me, the intelligence of all the intelligent people also bewildered by such kind of activities of yours. The intelligence of wise people is perplexed by such contradiction. It cannot be said that non-action, no birth, being the form of time, and being self-enjoyer are the true aspects, and the actions that you perform, the birth that you take, the fear that you showed, and acts the household life you led, they are all imitations. If somebody says that ऐसा भी imitation, ऐसा drama है, that I will not accept. It is not drama. You are actually doing all these things. All these activity that you perform, lifting Govardhan hill and all other things, and taking birth from the womb of Devaki, and executing fear, leaving Madura and going to Dwaraka, and accepting 16,100 ladies and living a life of Grostha ashram along with them. They are not imitation, they are actual activities. Otherwise, it would not be said that the intelligence of the wise becomes perplexed. The wise would know these are imitations and not actual, and thus they would not be perplexed. If they are actually imitation, the knowledge of people would have understood that they are imitation, so they are not bewildered. ये तो imitation है, drama है, इसको bewilder होने की जरूरत नहीं. But actually they are real, and the people, the wise people, are also convinced that they are real, and thus they are perplexed. ऐसे कैसे unborn lord takes birth and Natasya Karyam Karanam Chavjate, the personality who don't have to do anything, performs all the activities with full involvement, and is Atma Ram, but still marries so many wives and begets so many children. Every wife 10 sons and 1 daughter, and every wife ke like palace, separate palace. In order to please his wife, he goes to Swarga and get the Parijata tree after fighting with Indra. What is this? It could be said that when the Lord is described as having no activity, material actions are excluded, but not spiritual actions. Then, with that knowledge, why should the wise be perplexed? Even if you say that, okay, Lord is Nishkriya, that means he has no material activities to perform, fine. But he's performing material activities also, household activities. Then, with that knowledge, why should the wise be perplexed? With knowledge that Brahman is without action and Bhagavan is without knowledge, where would be the perplexity? The wise, with the understanding that Brahman is without action, without material activities and spiritual activities, and Bhagavan is without knowledge of material world. He is indifferent to material world, and so he does not perform any material activities. Where would be the perplexity? There will be no perplexity, because Lord is always situated in the spiritual knowledge. He has no material knowledge. Matlab, he is not bound by the material activities. He is not concerned about the material activities. If you think like that, where is the perplexity? But it is not so. Lord is performing all the material activities full intensity. What is implied here is that anyone who says that Krishna's actions are imitations or that non-action means spiritual action and not birth means spiritual birth, or that Brahman is non-active and Bhagavan is active, and is that not perplexed intelligence is not wise. If a person says like that, "Oh, Lord, when he comes, he does not do any material activities. He has no interest in the material activities like that. He cannot be wise. Lord actually performs all the activities of this world. Why would Lord Rama, following the instruction of Kaikeyi, saying that my father gave a word to my mother that he will fulfill her desire, I will go to forest. Why would he do? He is the Supreme Lord. He can do whatever he want. He is Swarat, independent. But he followed it and went to forest and lived in the forest with all other things and for so many years. And eventually, just one washerman has said something that how can I accept a woman who went stayed in somebody else's home for a long time? And for the washerman case is only one night. Lord Rama abandoned his wife Sita. So, what was the need for him to abide by the laws of this material world? He is the Supreme Lord. He can be independent of all these things. If somebody said that he does not do any material activities, he is not wise. He does every activity that belongs that should be done in this material world, in addition to his spiritual transcendental activities. Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 10.2, Name Vidu Suragana Prabhavam no Maharshaya. Even the devatas such as Brahma and the great sages such as Vyasa do not know my excellent birth. Prabhavam. They do not understand the transcendental nature of my birth and activities. This Lord Krishna himself is saying. And Bhishma also says in the ninth chapter of the first canto, O king, no one can understand the plan of Lord Krishna because even though they engaged in reasoning and scripture are bewildered by that inquiry. Nahi asya karhichit rajan puman veda vidisthitam tad yad vignasaya yukta muyanti kavayopihi. Even the greatly learned people are also bewildered when they want to understand what Krishna does, why he does, what he does. So no one can understand the Supreme Lord. It is not that easy. That's why we encounter such contradictions. How come that unborn Lord takes birth? How come that inactive Lord performs all the activities, material, spiritual? How come the time personified is fearful of some demon and hides himself in the fort within the water? And how come the self-satisfied Lord marries so many wives and performs all the household activities as if he is incomplete without them? All these things actually bewilder me. So like that, our Uddhava is stating. Even he continues further in the next verse also. In the next verse, he would say that Krishna is all-knowing, but still he takes my guidance, my counseling. When Nardamuni came from Astinapur, not Astinapur, Indraprastha, saying that Yudhishthira Maharaj want to perform Raju sacrifice, he wanted your counseling. At the same time, some Brahmanas sent by all the kings who were arrested by Jarasandha, who wanted to offer them as Narabali to Kalabhairava. So the Brahmanas came and told Krishna that, my dear Lord, all the kings are requesting, soliciting your protection. Please save them from this Narabali Yajna of Jarasandha. So two messengers came simultaneously. Which one should be done first? So Lord Krishna requested Yadavas. Yadavas said that no, first let us go and fight with Jarasandha and we'll kill him and we'll deliver the kings. Raj sacrifice can be done later on, no problem. Then Lord Krishna looked at Uddhava. He asked Uddhava, my dear Uddhava, please tell me what I am supposed to do. And Uddhava said, my dear Lord, you should go to Indraprastha. Then Yadavas became angry at Uddhava. Hey, what Uddhava, what are you saying this? The kings are getting killed in no time. Jarasandha can offer them to Kalabhairava any time. They are all going to be 80,000 kings are arrested by him and they are going to be killed. And you are telling Krishna to go to Chinapur, Indraprastha. What is this? And Uddhava said, by going to Hastinapur, both can be accomplished. If Yudhishthira Maharaj want to perform Raju sacrifice, he should conquer all the unsupportive kings such as Jarasandha. So Jarasandha is not supposed to be killed by you, my lord. He is supposed to be killed by Bhima. So please go to Hastinapur and take Bhima with you and invite Jarasandha for a battle with Bhima and let Bhima kill him. So the kings will be protected. And once Jarasandha is killed, half of the work is done for Raju sacrifice. And Pandavas can perform Raju sacrifice. If you go and fight with Jarasandha, but we know that you only defeat Jarasandha, you will not kill him. He will be still there. So how could Pandavas will perform? You go and fight again. Bhima has to come and fight. Why double fight? Let Bhima go and fight once. So one fight से दो काम हो जाएगा. So that was the guidance Uddhava gave that time. So like that, Uddhava is reminiscing that past time and then tells it. So this we will discuss in the next week. Okay. Hare Krishna, devotees are there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, for the in the questionnaire for text 3, Lord
Yeah, test 3.
Yogamaya potency on removal of Yadus, that question had answers in the fourth, first 3 verses also.
Yes, yes.
So how to study for the exam? Next Sunday exam, no?
Yes, yes. I will see and I'll update you. Even
Okay.
it is we all discussed anyway. You know that that section of the fourth chapter is also over, so that you can write now. What is the problem?
No, that is also included in the third, no?
Let it be there. You can write that also. What is it?
Okay. Hare
So,
Krishna.
other devotees have anything to ask or anything to say?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Manoj.
Prabhuji, Krishna had means this may be very insignificant question, but Krishna had 10 sons and one daughter.
One daughter.
So what is the what is there any significance of this proportion? Like
Simple, na? When multiple wives are there, you cannot give less or more to someone. The other way, there is a competition, criticism, complaint. Simple
no,
thing.
but why one daughter only?
Of course, every parents want to have children, both also, na? Male and female, sons and daughters. Why only one daughter and 10 sons? That if that is the question that I answer, I don't know.
Yeah, this is the question, Prabhuji.
Yeah, what that I don't know. But generally, I don't have any answer for that. But Krishna wanted to expand. He wanted to show his opulence. So he begot sons. And in order to keep his wives also kind of satisfied, and one daughter also was born. So basically, we see that this is Krishna's expansion of his mystic potency. So he expanded himself in the form of his various sons. So in that way, we can see.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Any other devotees have any question? Sorry, we are a little late. So because this verse was important, so we covered. Maybe 2 more verses are there, but we'll do next week.